In this code, several commonly used libraries are imported in order to manipulate data, perform numerical computations, handle dates and times, and create data visualizations. These libraries include pandas imported as ship2, which has powerful data manipulation tools and structures such as data frames, and numpy imported as inpir, which allows efficient mathematical operations on arrays. Stabtime, a Python module for working with dates and times, and matplotlib. Pyplot imported as shplt, a plotting library for creating a variety of visualizations. This Python code retrieves historical stock price data for Apple Inc. Apple from Yahoo Finance. Using the pandas data reader library, it displays the daily stock price data from October 1, 2006 to January 1, 2012, and uses the yfinance library to access Yahoo Finance. The Python code snippet utilizes the quanal library to obtain historical stock market data for Apple Inc. Symbol Apple, it only retrieves data from October 1, 2006 to January 1, 2012 from the wiki database on quanal. The first 5 rows of the retrieved data are then displayed for a preview. The following code is likely working with a pandas data frame named Chapel, representing stock market data for Apple Inc. The index of the data frame can be accessed with Jekyll. Index and includes dates are unique identifiers for the rows. Japl. Columns provides a list of the column names, such as open, close, high, low, and volume. The last 10 entries from the close column are selected and assigned to the variable tdish. The type of tdish can be determined using tdpitse, which is likely a pandas series object since we are slicing a column from a data frame. It's important to ensure proper punctuation and syntax in the code to execute correctly. This Python code is adding and deleting a column in a pandas data frame called Jekyll. The new diff column contains the difference between the open and close values for each row. After being populated, the div column is removed, resulting in no structural changes to the original data frame. This code creates a visual representation, likely a line graph, of the closing prices for Apple Inc. Apple stock from a certain data structure called Chapelsh. To improve clarity, the plot includes a grid. The visual is then presented in a window for viewing, and can be helpful for analyzing trends in Apple stock prices over a period of time. This code uses Python to analyze the adjusted closing prices of Apple Inc. As stock, it selects the adjusted close column from a larger dataset and calculates the daily percentage and log changes in the prices. Any missing values are replaced with 0 and the results are printed to the console. This snippet offers 2 different perspectives on the daily return patterns of Apple stock. The following code uses Python to manipulate a time series of data for the variable Chapelsh, which likely represents stock prices for Apple Inc. The data is first rescampled to get the last business day of each month, and a lambda function is used to select the last data point for each month. The percentage change between these monthly data points is then calculated. The original data is then rescampled again to calculate the mean over every 4-month period, and the percentage change is computed again. It is important to note that these calculations are not assigned to a variable, so no direct output or result is generated unless further code is added. The Python code imports the matplotlib pyplot module as shplt and uses the shist method to create a histogram plot of the daily aptj dataset. The histogram is divided into 50 bins and displayed using shplt. Show. The code also prints descriptive statistics of the dataset using the described method. Note the first line may have a syntax error and should be written separately as import matplotlib pyplot as pult. This Python code calculates the cumulative daily return of an investment based on its daily percentage change. It does this by converting the percentage change values to growth factor format, multiplying them sequentially to get cumulative product values, and then displaying these values as the investment's return over time. The visible part of incomplete Python code imports the pyplot module from matplotlib for data visualization. It suggests the use of matplotlib as a plot method to plot cumulative daily returns of financial data from a pandas data frame or series called daily return. The desired figure size is specified as 12.8 inches. The chplt show command displays the plot for the user to see. It should be noted that missing data definitions and configurations may prevent the code from running successfully. This code uses Python to resample a time series of cumulative daily returns, likely from a financial dataset, into the average monthly cumulative return. By changing the frequency from daily to monthly, it calculates the mean for each month to determine the average return. The resulting values are then printed out. The Python code snippet facilitates fetching historical financial data from Yahoo Finance for a specified group of stock tickers. It uses the pandas data reader library with yfinance as the data source. The function has 3 inputs: a list of stock tickers, a start date, and an end date. The get function utilizes a subfunction data to retrieve data for each individual ticker using map. The results are then combined into a data frame with a hierarchical index. An example of this function is provided, retrieving data for 4 tech companies from October 1, 2006 to January 1, 2012. The first few entries of the merged dataset are displayed. The following Python code processes financial data to analyze the daily percentage change in stock prices and presents the results in a histogram. This is done by selecting the Add Close column from a data frame called GL data containing stock market data. The index is then reset for ease of manipulation, and the data is pivoted to show each stock's adjusted closing price for each day. Next, the percentage change in prices is calculated using the change method, resulting in a new data frame. This data is then plotted in a histogram with 50 bins, allowing for easier comparison among stocks. The plot is set at a size of 12x8 inches and is displayed using the show function, possibly from the matplotlib library. Overall, this code analyzes and visualizes the daily percentage change in adjusted closing stock prices from a given dataset. The following code creates a scatter plot matrix for the daily upchange dataset in Python. Each cell in the matrix is a scatter plot that shows the relationship between two variables. The diagonal plots display a kernel density estimation did plot, which visualizes the distribution of a single variable. The points in the scatter plots are set to 10 opacity to better show their density and reduce overlap. The size of the scatter matrix can also be specified using the figsize attribute. The resulting scatter matrix is then displayed using the pult show command, with plt likely referring to the matplotlib pyplot module. This Python code analyzes financial data for the stock of Apple Inc. Apple, the Apple dataset is used to select the adjusted close prices, which represent the closing price after adjustments for splits and dividends. The code then calculates the 40-day moving average of the adjusted close prices and takes the last 10 values to observe the recent trend of the stock's price movement. This is commonly used to smooth out short-term fluctuations and highlight longer-term trends. The following Python code uses financial data, likely for Apple's stock Apple, to calculate 40 and 252-day moving averages of adjusted closing prices. These values are stored in new columns within the Apple data frame. To aid in analysis, a graph is generated using the adjusted closing prices and the newly calculated moving averages. The plot is displayed using pult show and provides insight into trends over time. This Python code calculates and plots the rolling volatility of a financial asset by using the asset's daily percentage change in price. The code sets a variable for the number of trading days to be considered for the rolling calculation, typically a quarter of a year. Using this value, it calculates the rolling standard deviation and equalizes it by multiplying it by the square root of the number of trading days. The resulting annualized volatility is then plotted with the specified figure size. The plot is displayed using the matplotlib pyplot module. This code in Python conducts statistical analysis on a stock dataset by importing required modules and extracting information about the adjusted closing prices for Apple Inc. and Microsoft Corporation stocks. The logarithmic returns are calculated and combined into a single data frame. A linear regression model is then created and fitted, with Apple returns being used as an important variable. A summary of the model is printed, providing insight into the relationship between Apple's and Microsoft stock returns. This code snippet uses the matplotlib library to create a scatter plot and line plot. While also styling and labeling it, the scatter plot displays Apple returns against Microsoft returns with red dots, and the line plot shows a model's predictions based on Apple returns in blue. The grid is enabled for readability, and the plot's axis is adjusted to fit all data neatly. The x-axis is labeled as Apple returns and the y-axis as Microsoft returns. Overall, the code visually compares the returns of Apple and Microsoft stocks and represents the relationship between them using a model's predictions. A Python code is used to analyze financial data, specifically the daily returns of Microsoft and Apple stocks over a span of 252 days. This provides a visual representation of the changing correlation between the two stock returns. The result is displayed to the user using show function. This snippet of Python code is specifically designed to create trading signals using moving averages of the closing prices of Apple Inc. As stock, the code goes through several steps, including setting up variables for the lengths of short and long moving averages, initializing a data frame for the signals, calculating and storing the moving averages, and generating by signals when the short moving average is greater than the long moving average. It also creates a column to track changes in the trading signals over time. Overall, this code is used to implement a basic moving average crossover strategy for trading Apple stock. This Python code uses the matplotlib library to create a financial chart. It first initializes a new figure and adds a subplot with the y-axis label for stock prices. The closing price of Apple Inc. stock, along with two moving averages, is plotted on the subplot. The code also adds upward-pointing magenta triangles for buy signals and downward-pointing black triangles for sell signals on top of the short moving average line. The chart is displayed in a window and utilizes the signals variable, which contains trading signals, moving averages, and positions of trades. The positions column signifies the buy and sell points on the chart. This code snippet in Python is designed for financial analysis and forms part of a backtesting strategy for stock trading. Firstly, an initial capital of $100 0 is set for investment. Next, a data frame named positions is created and filled with zeros, representing the number of shares held for a specific stock couple in this case. The number of shares to be held is determined by multiplying a signal likely indicating buy or sell with 100. A new data frame portfolio is then created to calculate the market value of the held Apple shares based on adjusted closing prices. Additionally, the code calculates the position differences between different time points and updates the holdings column in the portfolio data frame with the sum of the adjusted close price multiplied by the number of shares across all stocks. The cash column is updated to reflect the remaining funds after buys and sells, and the total column reflects the total value of the portfolio by summing the cash and holdings. Finally, the code calculates the percentage change in the portfolio's value over time to determine the returns. Overall, this code allows for the calculation of the value and returns of a trading portfolio over time based on buy and sell signals for a specific stock couple in this case. This snippet of Python code uses the matplotlib library to generate a plot. Likely for financial data analysis, the plot includes a single set of axes labeled as portfolio value in and displays the total portfolio value over time as a line chart. Potential buy signals are marked by upward pointing magenta triangles, and potential sell signals are marked by downward pointing black triangles. The code requires a portfolio data frame with a total column representing the total portfolio value over time, as well as a signals data frame indicating trading signals with positions marked as 1, 0 for buy signals and 1, 0 for sell signals. This Python code calculates the Sharpe ratio for a portfolio by comparing its returns to a risk-free asset and adjusting for risk. It extracts the portfolio's returns and calculates the ratio by normalizing the average daily returns by the standard deviation of returns. The resulting Sharpe ratio is annualized using 252 trading days in a year and printed out as a measure of the portfolio's risk-adjusted return. A higher Sharpe ratio indicates a more desirable return for the level of risk taken. This Python code snippet analyzes the financial data of Apple Inc. Symbol Apple by calculating and plotting the daily drawdown and maximum daily drawdown. A window size of 252 days is used, which is a common measure for a full year of trading days. The rolling maximum and daily drawdown for Apple are calculated, with the latter representing the percentage drop from the former to the current adjusted close price. Additionally, the maximum daily drawdown for the same 252-day period is calculated. The resulting graph visually displays the downside risk of holding Apple stock over the defined time period. This is a Python code that calculates the compound annual growth rate (EGR) of Apple Inc. As stock apples, EGR is a measure of the annual growth rate of an investment over a time period longer than 1 year. Assuming profits are reinvested each year, the code finds the number of days between the first and last recorded date in the Chappell's index, then uses a formula to calculate